industrial system has inflicted on our community. I believe this is happening to us. So America would never do a thing like this to us.
When Pat Tillman, former NFL player and Army Ranger, died in Afghanistan in 2004, President Bush spoke about his death. But when it turned out that he had died at the hands of his own troops in a case of friendly fire, the Pentagon and the White House suppressed the information, keeping even Tillman's family in the dark. To expose the truth, his parents, Mary and Pat Sr., went public with Pat's true feelings about the war in Iraq, which he thought was illegal. In October 2006, his brother Kevin, who served in Pat's battalion, spoke out as well.
It is Pat's birthday on November 6th. Gets me thinking about a conversation I had with Pat before we joined the military. He spoke about the risks in signing the papers. How once we committed, we were at the mercy of the American leadership and the American people. Much has happened since we handed over our voice. Somehow, we were sent to invade a nation because it was a direct threat to the American people, or to the world, or harbored terrorists, or was involved in the September 11th attacks, or received weapons-grade uranium from Niger, or had mobile weapons labs, or WMD, or to stop an insurgency, or to stop a civil war we created that can't be called a civil war, even though it is. Somehow, our elected leaders were subverting international law and humanity by setting up secret prisons around the world, secretly kidnapping people, secretly holding them indefinitely, secretly not charging them with anything, secretly torturing them. Somehow, this overt policy of torture became the fault of a few bad apples in the military. Somehow back at home, support for our soldiers meant having a 5-year-old kindergartner scribble a picture with crayons and send it overseas, or slapping stickers on cars. It's interesting that a soldier on his 3rd or 4th tour should care about a drawing from a 5-year-old or a faded sticker on a car as his friends die around him. Somehow the more soldiers that die, the more legitimate the illegal invasion becomes. Somehow those afraid to fight an illegal invasion decades ago are allowed to send soldiers to die for an illegal invasion they started. Somehow faking character, virtue, and strength is tolerated. Somehow profiting from tragedy and horror is tolerated. Somehow the deaths of tens, if not hundreds, of thousands of people is tolerated. Somehow subversion of the Bill of Rights and the Constitution is tolerated. Somehow suspension of habeas corpus is supposed to keep this country safe. Somehow torture is tolerated. Somehow lying is tolerated. Somehow reason is being discarded for faith, dogma, and nonsense. Somehow American leadership managed to make a more dangerous world. Somehow the same incompetent, narcissistic, virtuous, vacuous, malicious criminals are still in charge of this country. Somehow this is tolerated. Somehow nobody is accountable for this. Luckily, this country is still a democracy. People still have a voice. People can still take action.